I'm Yuri.
I'm Jakub.
We're going for a drive. 2020 Jeep Gladiator
Mojave.
Mojave. No launch control. Manual. Horsepower and torque.
285 horsepower, 260 pound-feet of torque from a 3.6 liter V6.
We still don't have a V8 in a Jeep.
No, and this one's pretty slow, especially after driving the Eco Diesel.
But this is the Raptor's version of a Jeep because it is meant for dunes.
Yes, this is the first desert-rated Jeep ever made.
And I guess this being the first Jeep truck is the perfect time to compete with the Raptor, kind of.
Yeah, makes sense.
And it's
sort of.
And itself with the T-Rex.
Yeah, because this is a mid-sized truck, so it doesn't exactly compete with the Raptor.
Yo, this is like
It's the same idea. It's like this Colorado ZR2.
This doesn't feel mid-sized to me, FYI.
It definitely feels mid-size. And if you're enjoying this video and it's the first one you've watched from us, consider subscribing.
And if you've watched a bunch of our videos and you haven't subscribed yet, just subscribe. What are you doing?
Yeah, what are you waiting for?
Maybe for right now.
Oh, okay.
So before we get into all the things that make this a desert-rated, off-roady, jumpy dune truck,
Yes, the actual Mojave stuff.
let's get to the looks of the Mojave.
Okay, first of all, it looks really good, especially with that fake hood scoop up front.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely looks cooler with it.
It does, like, I know it's fake, it's kind of whatever, it's like the TRD Pros with the fake hood scoops, but it does add to the front end.
And then we've got this cool tan color.
Yes, which I believe is called Gobi, just like the desert.
Never been there.
Me neither. I've also never been to the Sahara.
I don't know if I've ever been to any deserts. I must have.
Yeah, I feel like we did something in like Arizona or
Is
something.
Vegas a desert?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Anyways, the logo Mojave that pops, or how is it pronounced?
Mojave.
It looks really good off the side. Pretty much all the badges look really good with the orange accents and the gray. Even on the inside, on the vents, and on the trim on the steering wheel, I think it looks really good.
Also on all the tow hooks on the outside, which is really cool.
Okay, lots of orange.
Yes.
And then moving on to the side, it's a nice long looking Gladiator, but we've got the soft top that pulls back like a normal drop top convertible kind of.
Yes, it looks like a backwards hat.
And then you need to unzip the very back if you want to take that off. It's super awkward.
Yes, definitely an awkward looking truck.
And then what about the wheels we've got on here?
They're kind of cool, definitely like off-roady trucky.
But are they better looking than a set of Blackhorn BH02s?
Oh, absolutely not. The same wheels I have on my Raptor, I think they look fantastic on here, photoshopped by Yuri.
And if you wanted to get a set for your Gladiator, head over to blackhornoffroad.com.
Right now they have free shipping in Canada and the United States, 5% off the already affordable prices with the discount code StraightPipes at checkout.
And then what would be the Continental recommended tire for the Jeep Gladiator Mojave?
Mojave. The Terrain Contact AT.
Just like your Raptor.
That's right.
And then we don't have a running board to help get you into this truck.
No, we just have these sand rails, aka kind of rock crawling rails. So
yeah, you probably want more ground clearance.
Exactly, and you get a lot more ground clearance with this one, part of the suspension components.
And we also have a skid plate up front.
Yes, which also protects some of the suspension components because this has external reservoirs for the Fox shocks.
Okay, and then at the very back, we do have a cover for the truck bed.
Yeah, and it's a roll-up cover from Jeep, which is kind of cool, but it's also a little flimsy. I actually prefer the one that I have on my Raptor. Sorry for mentioning my Raptor again.
And looks-wise at the back, it's pretty normal Gladiator, no tires, so it's a weird-looking Jeep. But what I really like is that the muffler is like tucked up in a way to provide more ground clearance, but it does look cool because it is kind of visible. So overall, looks-wise, do you think this looks like a Raptor competitor?
Kind of, but not really.
The bare bones minimum to be one?
Yeah, I think a Colorado ZR2 looks more Raptorish than this does.
And realistically, if this was a Raptor competitor and or T-Rex competitor, it would need a dinosaur name. Do you know what name I would come up with for this? The Dilophosaurus.
Oh, that's the one from Jurassic Park.
The fake spitting one, because when you open the doors and lift up the top, it kind of looks like that, and it can spit to clean the front camera.
Yeah, I could see that, because it has to have a dinosaur name to fit in with Raptor and T-Rex.
The Jeep Gladiator Dilophosaurus
Mojave
edition.
All right, that sounds like a total marketing disaster.
And now I'm going to give it a fast boot through Cliche Corner before you drive.
Ooh, a fast boot this time.
I'm going to shift it into second using this weird shifter, which you have to grab from the top like this.
Yeah, the 6-speed is a little weird.
And the armrest gets in the way. We'll talk about that with the interior. And going through Cliche, it actually handles pretty good. We're in rear wheel drive right now, and it's not doing anything weird. We get a lot of body roll, but
Not that much.
Like no plowing, no nothing.
Yeah, these shocks are actually kind of stiff, which I will complain about very shortly.
And I actually have so much more confidence with such a big truck Jeep than I thought I would.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, your turn to get behind the wheel.
Alrighty.
Get behind the driver's seat.
Ha It's pretty slow.
But it's fun to shift a car. It's really fun to have this in manual for at least a week.
You said something that was very correct. A car. This isn't a car, this is a truck, which is why I don't find it that fun.
Oh, yeah, I mean, it's still kind of fun.
This is one of the cars / trucks that I would actually prefer to just have it in auto because the auto is so good in these Jeeps.
Yeah, that is true. I do pretty much enjoy my time more in every automatic Jeep than in the manual Jeep, but it would be fun to do some rock crawling and stuff with a manual. I feel like you have so many more things you have to take care of.
Exactly. It'd be a lot more difficult. And next year, this is actually going to get the Eco Diesel, and that is going to be amazing in this. So let's get straight into the Mojave stuff, the really specific stuff. Okay, so first of all, it has a higher spring rate and it's 1 inch higher for more suspension travel because that's something that you'd want for jumps. Now, the problem I have with that is that makes this a little bit too stiff for the road, where I think the Rubicon and every other Wrangler and Gladiator is actually more comfortable to drive on the road than this.
Yeah, but if this is built for jumps.
I'm just saying, this is for the road and I haven't been able to jump this yet.
But cut to the clip of other people riding it on the desert and jumping.
And because it is specifically built for jumping and Raptoring, the Raptor is actually a lot more comfortable to drive with also having Fox shocks on the road and off the road.
And easier to keep straight while you're driving on the highways and stuff at higher speed.
Yeah, so basically my complaint is that it is possible to make off-road compliant shocks more comfortable on the road. And these Fox shocks with external reservoirs are specifically tuned for this Jeep.
Yes, they have hydraulic bump stops in the front. At the back, I just saw those yellow things.
Yeah, which is cool because the Raptor doesn't actually have hydraulic bump stops, so that is a first. And we also have our reinforced frame, axles, mounts, and suspension components. So this is totally different mechanically from the Wrangler, which is really cool.
So someone could probably really send this
Yes.
off a jump.
Even with upgraded aftermarket shocks, if you wanted to really send it because the frame's already been reinforced.
We need somebody to hit it like that first Ford Raptor jump guy.
Yeah.
And for the T-Rex too, come on.
Yeah. And unlike the Rubicon, which can disconnect its front sway bar, we can't actually do that here. And we also can't lock the front axle. We can only lock the rear axle. Again, totally different than the Rubicon because that's meant for rock crawling.
And this is meant for fast off-roading.
Which brings us to Off-Road Plus mode. So if you put this into 4 high, press Off-Road Plus, now it's a desert running machine, according to what they tell me because I haven't been able to try this on a desert.
I mean, the footage looks like it can do it.
Yeah, so basically what it does is adjust the steering, the brakes, the throttle, all your inputs just for desert running and jumping.
And then when you go into Off-Road Plus, then you also get your off-road pages, which will also have your trail cam to show your front camera while driving, but it'll turn off after a certain amount of time. But if you have it in 4 low and you're driving, it seems like you can have the front camera on the whole time because you're going slower, and the front camera button will light up on the infotainment where it doesn't in the other modes.
Which is really cool to have all of these features.
But there is a hack to get the front camera to go while the button is grayed out. You click the back camera, and then at the top you click the front camera, and then you get like 8 seconds of that.
Exactly.
And that's a lot better than we had on the AT4 that you had to dig through the infotainment to find that button. This you can set as a favorite right on the bottom.
And back to the Mojave versus Rubicon stuff, this actually has better approach, breakover, and departure angles and overall ground clearance because this is 1 inch higher.
It's weird, I feel like Rubicon would want that.
Exactly, but then you get a little bit more stability for off-roading, so you kind of want it to be like a good balance, which is why the Rubicon's where it's at.
So now finish off the Mojave stuff for us.
Okay, so this includes the max towing package, which is really nice to have. However, I did tow with this, only my jet ski, which is about 1,000 pounds, not too heavy, and I had some issues. This can tow up to 6,000 pounds, which is about 1,000 pounds less than the Rubicon and about 1,500 pounds less than the Sport S and the Sport because of the differences in suspension. Now, when I was towing my jet ski, I really enjoyed having the camera. It was crystal clear, I could press the button and see that my jet ski was still there, which is very refreshing to have because in a lot of cars or trucks you can't really do that, such as my Raptor. Now, the issue that I had while towing is I was only towing my jet ski, like I said, but because we have the manual transmission, I couldn't leave it in 6th gear while cruising at highway speeds because I would actually lose speed going up very minor hills. So I'd actually have to downshift into 3rd to go up the hill so that I could match my speed on the highway.
Sounds like it'd be a lot nicer to have an automatic diesel.
Yeah, exactly. So if you're gonna tow with this, yes, the numbers say that it's capable, but it's a bit of a hassle, especially combined with the steering because you have to give it so much input to keep it straight.
Yeah, sounds like a nightmare.
And my gas mileage actually dropped by 4 liters per 100 kilometers kilometers or 3 miles per gallon, which is actually a pretty big hit for only having a 1,000-pound jet ski to tow. That's actually substantial. It actually got worse mileage than my Raptor while driving around because my Raptor doesn't even feel the jet ski.
You're so worked up.
I know. It was just the first time I towed with anything other than my Raptor, and it made a really big difference.
So then moving on to this interior really briefly, pretty much the exact same as all the other new Gladiators and Jeep Wranglers we've driven.
It's exactly the same other than the orange accents.
Yeah, we got these cool Mojave seats with the tire pattern and stuff and the orange trim, which I really like. The back seats fold down and they fold up.
I find the seats to be slightly less comfortable because I think they're actually short kind of for my thighs.
It's kind of weird for driving manual, but if this was like an automatic, I'm sure it'd be fine because it is very comfortable.
Exactly.
And then we got Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, rewinding Sirius XM satellite radio stations. We got a lot of cool stuff in the middle, gauge cluster and analog tax.
We got heated seats and heated steering wheel with hard buttons.
Fits a cup just fine in the cup holder. Visor test, 3, 2, 1.
Yes!
And you have keyless entry on the doors, which is super convenient.
And to finish off this review, I'm going to send it into Cliche Corner. Let's see how this thing handles. And it seems to handle actually pretty well. Because of those stiffer Fox shocks, which I expect it to be a little bit softer, it actually handles really well because of that. So there's a lot less body roll than I thought. And it just doesn't have a lot of power, but at least you can downshift to kind of get the most out of it.
I'm just so surprised by the handling of these new Jeeps through Cliche.
I know, it's actually fantastic.
All right, so with everything out of the way, let's get to the price.
Well, it's a lot of money at $69,960.
Canadian.
Nice.
That's less than the diesel version of the Wrangler.
Yes, it is.
Do you think this is cooler than that?
Yes, it is.
Okay, and then will this have to compete with the Bronco or not? Because I don't think the Bronco is going to have a truck version.
No, but apparently there is a smaller truck coming from Ford, which may compete with this.
That'd be the Ranger Raptor. The Echo Raptor, modeled after the Echo Sport.
Yes, the Echo Boost.
It's going to be so cool.
With Mojave Echo Edition. And at this price, it's actually approaching the starting price of the Raptor, which is kind of crazy.
And then I guess this would be similar to the Colorado ZR2.
Yes, it would. ZR2.
We're American now, it's Z.
Oh, you might be, I'm not. So after driving this, I think you should just get a Rubicon instead. They're pretty much the same price, and this doesn't add enough cool stuff that is usable for me.
I think I'd end up with like a Sport or anything with more roady tires, because just steering constantly on the highway just bothers me a lot, but I do like the overall image of this.
The image is cool, but I think because of the function and stuff, Rubicon.
So silly question, this, the T-Rex, the Raptor, or the ZR2, which one would you take?
Well, not having driven the TRX, I'm gonna have to go with the TRX. So you put a Hellcat engine into a Ram 1500, it's gonna be probably pretty unreal.
Yeah, the TRX is definitely cooler than this, the Raptor is definitely cooler than this, but none of those trucks you can legally drive with the doors off, so this wins there.
I guess so, yep.
Okay, so let us know what you think of the Mojave in the comments. Is it a good Raptor attempt? Is it not even close? Do you have one? Do you like it?
What's a Mojave? You mean Mojave?
And click this video for other Raptor-y off-roady trucks.
I know it's called a Mojave, but I just wanted to save that for the end of the video so you guys can leave your angry comments. Mojave.
Mojave.
Yeah.